Good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming. Really lovely to see you all here. And what we're going to be talking about today is how you can transform your business with the power of a daring mindset. Or what would Tigger do? Or how to live your seven-figure life. And I'm Dr. Jo Cresswell, and I'm the Human Being Coach, and it's very lovely to welcome you here. So, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to read your mind with your permission. Now, the mind of an entrepreneur is a wonderful place to be. It's a place of innovation and power and ideas and vision and general excitement. However, it can also be a place of fear, of frustration, of perfectionism, doubt, and paralysis. And the challenge is that we can go from one to the other instantly. We can feel on top of the world, and the next moment we're back down again. We're back in this sort of doubting, fear mindset. Now, how many people here remember this game? Did anybody play this game? Yeah. So, Snakes and Ladders. And the way I see the mind of an entrepreneur is a game of snakes and ladders. 1 minute we're on top of the world, and then something happens, we hit the snake, and we go all the way back down to the bottom. And it can feel so frustrating, because you sort of think, well, I'm here again. Why is this happening again? And I have good news and bad news for you. The good news is you're not alone. It's a function of being human. This is what being human is like. The bad news is it's a function of being human. So, as human beings, we have 7 core emotions. The challenge is only one of those is positive. The rest of our emotions are neutral or negative, which basically means in your entrepreneur's mindset, you have 6 eels for every Tigger. So that's why it's so difficult for us sometimes to stay in that positive place, and we end up sliding down those snakes. Now, the other big challenge is right now, there are so many snakes. We've got really big snakes that are causing us challenges as business owners. So we've got political upheaval, supply chain problems. We're still experiencing the challenges of COVID. Prices are going up, exchange rates are impacting us, and we've got war, we've got climate change. All of these things will lead to us spending more and more time in this kind of doubting mindset, in this Eeyore mindset. And so what I want to do today is kind of give you the antidote to that. So I want to talk really about the daring mindset and how that can help you as entrepreneurs, as business owners, as leaders, to really step into your power and harness your own creativity and business. So what is a daring mindset? Firstly, it is a powerful state of being. So think about a time you did something on a dare. It might have been something really courageous, it might have been something silly. I've done both. But what was that feeling like? What did it feel like to step forward, to go way out of your comfort zone and do something you never would have done otherwise? And what did it feel like to have done it? That is that powerful state of being, to just jump out of your comfort zone. But it's also a framework for alignment, action, and growth. So it's a route for you to be able to create that more positive mindset. And I'll show you how in a few minutes. But the idea basically is to give Tigger a chance. So we're evening up the odds. So rather than sort of most of our mindset being sort of being down, being Eeyore, we want more Tiggers. Now I'm leaving the Eeyores in. I'm leaving Eeyore in because we do actually need a little bit of sort of discernment and discretion. We need a bit of a sense check every now and then. So the daring mindset. This is an outline of the framework. So this is your roadmap to basically be creating growth, to be creating that daring mindset. So it starts with the difference. What is the difference you want to create? What do you want to be different as a result of your business? And also, What do your customers need? How do they need you to help them create a difference? Having a dream is great. You've got to be accountable to actually create that change, to take action. You want to, particularly at the moment, we want to be seeking out, we want to reinvent. We want to look at possibilities and options for how we can do things differently. And then take action. Because if we don't take action, we're not going to get anywhere. And then what we want to do, because this is big stuff, this is big, big work, we want to prioritize nurturing ourselves. We want to look after ourselves as we take our businesses forwards. And sort of at the end of this and then at the beginning of this is celebrating growth and continuous improvement. And if we're doing it right, we get to this point and then we start all over again. We go back to D. So let's look at this in detail. We're looking at the difference. And I love this quote by Marshall Goldsmith. It's what got you here won't get you there. So you've reached a point in your business, in your life, but you want to go further. So now you need to start thinking about what needs to be different to take you to the next level. And I'm going to talk about both you and your business and your customers. And this applies to if you have a business and you're scaling it and you have a team, this also applies to your team as well. So think about your business. So what is the difference you want to create and why? What is the impact you want to create? What are you doing now that you want to be different? And then think about your customers, because that's the key. We get very focused on the difference we want to create, but actually, what is the difference that your customers need you to help them create? Because if you're a coach and you're coaching confidence, that's not actually what you're selling. You're selling the things that confidence will give your customers, what they can do with that confidence. And what I want you to do is remember when you got your first car. Think about you got your first car. They didn't sell you a car. They sold you freedom, independence, a ticket to adulthood, status and fun. So that's where we want to get our customers. Through the work they do with us, what's the benefit of that benefit? So to create that difference, how do you now need to think differently? You've got where you are now. To get to that next level, how do you need to think differently? How do you need to act differently? So what you've been doing so far, great. What's now the action that takes you to the next level? For me, it was signing up to exhibit and speak at an expo. I figured out how to do it later. And then the big one is for you, your team, your customers, how do you need to be different? So it's creating that daring mindset, that daring identity. Now, accountability is key, because having a goal, having a dream, wonderful. If we don't take action, or if we don't commit to creating that change, nothing's going to happen. And I love this quote from Mel Robbins. We look around for how to empower ourselves. All we need to do is take responsibility for ourselves all of the time to show up. Now, how do we be accountable? How can we best be accountable to get us to where we want to be? And my very good friend and coach and mentor, Simon Parsons, created this formula. And he created this by talking to some of the most successful people on LinkedIn, basically asking them how they did it, asking them what they do. And the formula is knowledge plus action minus overthinking equals results. So we can intervene at any of these points, and sometimes we need one more than the other, sometimes we need them all. Overthinking was a big one for me. So how can you be accountable for finding the knowledge and finding out what you don't know? So where can you find out that knowledge? You can do research, you can look to your network, your peers, a coach or a mentor. So how do you be accountable for finding out the knowledge you need? Taking action. Again, if we don't take action, we're not going to get anywhere. So what holds you back from taking action? But also, are you taking the right actions? Now I'm Tigger, I get distracted by shiny objects, and my coach has to keep pulling me back, so I'm taking the right actions and not getting distracted, and I can see a nod over there. And overthinking. What, if you thought just now, what is the one thing that sort of is your big Achilles heel, the thing that you overthink the most? And how is that holding you back? And how can you be accountable for working on that, for identifying it, for letting it go, so that you can get to where you want to be? And this applies to you. It applies to you in your life, in your business. It applies to your team as you scale and grow your business. How are they being held accountable? And also, how can you hold your customers accountable for creating the change that you're helping them with? It's like buying a gym membership. And if anybody here has a gym membership, you know what I mean. You buy the gym membership, it doesn't make you fit. I tried it. You have to show up and take the actions. So how can we hold our clients and customers accountable for that? And then we get to reinvention. So this is how we become different, how we do differently. And we have to right now, because the changes in the world over the last 3 years, but they're still going. What was successful for us before is not going to be successful right now. So how do we reinvent? And this quote, I think, sums it up. When the going gets tough, the tough reinvent. We figure it out. We adapt. So I want you now just to kind of unhook your conscious, critical, logical brain, the one that tells you you can't, the one that overthinks. I just want for everybody just to sit and go, I wonder. Just put yourself in a place of wonder. And wonder what you could do to create that difference. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is ask you to 10x your vision for next year. Because next year you might have a target, say, I'm going to double my income next year. And you probably will. And that'll be great. You'll double your income. What if I told you to go for a target 10 times your income next year? What does that feel like? If you're doing it right, it probably feels probably feel a bit sick. So what happens? What happens if you only 5x your income next year? You're ahead. So it's really, really thinking big. And people I've spoken to on stands, we're not talking next level, we're talking next level. So that can be a bit scary. So we just be creative, we have fun, we go wild with ideas. We just play with ideas. Keep throwing ideas out there. And let go of that part of you that whenever you come up with an idea, sort of goes, yeah, but, I don't know how to do that. That's not me. Doesn't matter. If an idea's come into your head, it's come there for a reason, and we want to explore it. So that's when we explore the possible. So you just dream. You keep asking yourself, what could I do? I wonder what I could do. What else? What else? What else? And just keep writing them down. Because that's what's going to feed the really powerful implementation. These are the actions that you're going to take to move the needle to where you want it to be. Because as we've said, dreams are wonderful, accountability is wonderful, but if we're not going to show up and take the actions, we will not get anywhere. And it's so easy to go, I'll do it tomorrow. I've got so many things on my to-do list, that were there, I'll do that tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. I can see a few people sort of going, yeah, tomorrow. So the Mahatma Gandhi, the future depends on what you do today, right now. And you're doing it, you're here, you've shown up to the show, you've shown up to the talk. So how do you do it? Because you've put yourself in this place of possibility. You've got loads and loads of ideas. If you're like me, a bit Tigger, you've got shiny objects there as well. So how do you focus down? And it's actually focusing on the one thing, the most important thing that you can do today and right now that will make the most impact, that will take your business further and further and further. And if you do that one thing every day, that's where the change comes from. And it helps you focus. The first action is the hardest to take. It always is. Because it feels insurmountable. So distill down to find the absolute smallest action you can take, the tiniest action. It doesn't have to be a big one, and it's almost, I know I spoke to somebody yesterday, and we ended up, the smallest action was he put a note in his calendar, he made an appointment with himself to look up some research about something he was looking for. So that could be it, the smallest action. The other thing that holds us back, the other big overthinking thing, is failure, fear of failure. But what if there was no such thing as failure? Yeah, I'm seeing some doubts. Okay, where am I going with this? What if everything was an experiment? Now, I'm a scientist by training. I love experiments, and that was the real transformation moment for me. Because in an experiment, there can be no failure. You get information, you get learning for the next go. And that helps you to then evaluate and adapt. So you do this cycle, you learn, you grow, you evaluate, you adapt, and you start again. You start again, how does that feed in? What's the next one thing I need to do? And that adds up to bigger and bigger actions. Now, as I've said, this is big work, and we are human beings. We don't like change. We are wired to think change is dangerous. So every part of us is kind of going, whoa, stop, comfort zone. So take some time for yourself. It's really important to nurture. I know as entrepreneurs, we're kind of 100 miles an hour all the time. And this, I just love this quote. This sums up pretty much every piece of equipment I've ever used. You know, almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you. So I was asked a couple of months ago for my number one tip to be unstoppable. And thought about it for a while, and actually my number one tip is to stop. Counterintuitive, but to be unstoppable, you need to stop. One, to recharge. You know, even the highest performance car needs to be refilled. You need to feed it. But also you want to stop to make sure you're being unstoppable in the right direction. Because again, Tigger, shiny objects, I can go off in the wrong direction. I can be taking the wrong actions. So every now and then I stop, I reflect. Is this where I'm going? Is this the difference? And then, this is for you, but it's also as you grow your business and build a team, is what's the purpose? How are you aligning to your purpose every day? Because that's your life force, if you like. And how are you doing that for your team? How are you creating belonging? How are you creating inclusivity, diversity, belonging? So that everybody is working to that shared purpose and they feel like they have ownership for it. Because that's where the power is. When you feel like you have ownership and you are contributing. And that's where credit and gratitude comes in. And do it for yourself. Give yourself credit for showing up at the business show today. You know, taking that step. Give yourself credit for everything you're doing, because when you've got these really big goals, you can look up and see them and think, oh, I've got so far to go. What you don't do is look back and go, wow, look how far I've come. So give yourself credit and gratitude. Be thankful for the growth you've had, for the outcomes as you look ahead. And self-care and compassion. Please take care of yourself. I burnt out once. I really don't want to do it again. It's not clever. So take time out. Take time out in nature. Take time out with friends, network, do this kind of thing. I know I celebrate you for taking time out to come to this show. And that's the real key to being an entrepreneur is, take care of yourself and your team and your customers. Now growth, this is it. This is the big one. This is where you want to get. And as I've said, we're not doing small steps. We're looking exponential growth. We're looking to take the big leap. And this book, I would highly recommend this book, which is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. And I've read it loads of times. It's helped me a lot over the last few months. And I want to ask you, I'm going to dare you to answer this question. Are you willing to take the big leap to your ultimate level of success in love, money, and creative contribution. I dare you. So this is where we're heading. We are heading for that big leap. So how do we do it? This is all about growth. And what I want to say is this framework, it's not a one and done. We don't do this once and we're sorted. Because what you will find is what seemed impossible to you originally is now your comfort zone. So this is both the start and the end. So celebrate those wins along the way, because that's that progress. It's that you know you're making an impact. Learn and grow from, it's not really failure, is it? It's experimentation. Learn, grow and adapt. And set your sights on that next big level, that big leap. That's where we want to be. And if you're doing it right, this is going to be uncomfortable. I wish I could say it isn't. But if you're comfortable, if you're in your comfort zone, you're not growing. So just get comfortable with it. Yeah. Discomfort is a sign that you're doing the right thing. It's a sign that it's working. This is how it's supposed to feel if you're really pushing the boundaries. And this was a lesson I had to learn. I hate discomfort. But now I embrace it because I know it shows me I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. And so when we do all of that, our mindset then, so where we looked before, a day in the mind of an entrepreneur, we're giving Tigger a chance. We are putting ourselves really in that positive, expansive, innovative, wonderful mindset. And we're able to, when we're uncomfortable, when those doubts come in, we're able to see them as a positive thing because it's part of our growth. It's part of what we're looking to achieve. And it's also a place of fun and nurture, kind of a place of Tigger. So that really is the transformation you're looking to get with the power of a daring mindset. And so doubts are going to come in. They are. Because we're human and we have 6 ears for every Tigger. So doubts will come in. So when in doubt, my point is, what would Tigger do? Ask yourself, what would Tigger do? My shorthand for this is, am I doubting or daring? So if an opportunity comes up for me and I'm not quite sure, am I doubting or daring? And quite often I'm doubting. So I look at what's causing me to doubt and I work through it, I go through it, I deal with the discomfort, I embrace the discomfort. I ask myself, what would Tigger do? I ask myself, what is the one thing I could do to help move my business forwards? How can I show up today, even when I don't want to? And that's really the transformation of a daring mindset. So I'm going to dare you to work through these steps. Take these actions, because that is where the real growth for you will be. And I hope you have a wonderful show. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you.